and I love everyone here. Okay. So friends, family, community, thank you so much for having me here today to present the topic from a humanist/atheist perspective. My name is Steve Ghikadis, and I am a local representative for Humanist Canada. So I asked the organizers from the Ahmadiyya Muslim Students Association if they could change the name of the position or relabel the position from atheist to humanist/atheist for a couple reasons. The first reason is I'd rather talk about what I do believe than what I don't believe. And the second reason is this is an excellent opportunity to explain what humanism is to everyone here and then to the world as a whole. Let's see if this works. There we go. Okay, so according to the 2021 Canadian census, 34.6% of our national population are unaffiliated with any religion. Now that's just the people who are out about their beliefs or lack thereof. The percentage is probably higher than this. Why? Well, when your friends and family think that you're going to burn in a lake of fire for all of eternity, it's kind of hard to be like, that's me, for obvious reasons. It's also been historically, socially unacceptable to lack belief in the deity that your society adopts. We are known colloquially as nuns, N-O-N-E-S, not N-U-Ns, for those keeping track. That's for our tendency to put none on surveys when they ask which religion we affiliate with or we consider ourselves to be. There have been many nuns throughout history, and we appreciate their courage and resilience to be able to express our views openly in Canada today. Some examples, we got Henry Morgentaler, who was instrumental in reproductive rights, people like that. Now getting back to the difference between atheism and humanism. Atheism is just a lack of belief in a god or gods. As an atheist, I lack belief in any of the 3,000 supernatural deities that have been presented. Why? For many reasons, but 8 to 10 minutes is not a lot of time to delve into all that and fully flesh out the details. So I'm going to stick to the two main reasons that I think are both pertinent and cordial. So the first is the lack of evidence that has been presented on on all the gods proposed by Homo sapiens throughout the history of humanity. And imagine yourself in an auditorium, not too hard to do. Okay. Imagine you're in ancient Greece, and you believe in the pantheon of gods. Or you're in ancient Rome, ancient Egypt, Sumer. Everyone here on the panel is conversing about their reasons to worship their version of a god or goddess or demigod. And all of these places at different times had different gods that are no longer considered part of the canon. They've all become myths, legends, stories. When will we look back and say the same thing about the deities that are worshipped today? The ancient peoples whose convictions were just as strong as the people here on this panel today. They didn't know that their deities would end up on the cutting room floor and be brushed under the rug as new ideas emerged and materialized. Can I say that I know for sure that no gods exist? No. We can't even determine the possibility or the probability of any deities existing. If there happens to be a being who created us either on purpose or by accident, but doesn't interact with us in any tangible way, not only is there no reason to believe that God exists, there's no reason to believe that God, there's no difference from that God than a God that doesn't exist at all. Maybe that God has 3 eyes, purple teeth, or it's made of banana leaves. Maybe it's a ball of energy that we all return to, like quantum fields. Or maybe it's just all a computer simulation. The possibilities and characteristics are endless. If a deity is as described to some people as an invisible, intangible, disembodied mind that is outside of this reality, that's equal to nothing. There are too many variables to nail down in a single representation of any God. And the fact is, we don't know exactly how we got here yet. And personally, I'm comfortable not knowing. We may never know the answer, and we may have to come to terms with that. Secondly, I trust in the expertise of biologists, astronomers, physicists, chemists, paleontologists, and all other professional scientists. Why? Because we've seen the fruits of their labor in the real world. Vaccines that combat disease, rockets that transport us to other worlds, large complicated colliders that replicate the beginning of the local presentation of our universe. Not to mention the sequencing of DNA and the Human Genome Project. Then we have weather patterns, natural disasters, transitional species and fossils, solar eclipses, and phases of the moon. They can all be predicted with immense accuracy. Curiosity-driven research is not burdened by confirmation bias, which is defined as seeing things as we want to see them as opposed to the way they really are. Open-mindedness and open-ended study allows us to learn the natural explanations to our surroundings. Science presents novel, testable predictions, new ideas that have to be scrutinized, peer-reviewed, and tested over and over and over again to ensure that they're worthy of being held up to being called a theory, which in the scientific community is the closest we can get to ultimate truth. Things we didn't know then that we do now to an amazing degree. Every time we have a gap in knowledge, we say, that's where God fits in. Then we discover another natural phenomenon, and God gets pushed further down the road, slowly fading into obscurity. We used to think that thunder and lightning came from an angry God in our sky. Now we know the real answer, and it's much more intriguing than picturing a cosmic tantrum. A bolt of lightning rips through the sky and fries 1 trillion air molecules with energy hotter than the sun. Those superheated molecules explode out of the way with a crack. When the bolt is gone, it leaves a vacuum behind, an empty space. And all those molecules smash back into each other again and fill in the emptiness. That's the long rumble you hear. Waves of air miles and miles long, swirling and colliding like waves at the beach. I find that so much more amazing than the former explanation. That right there is the tip of the iceberg that explains why I have a lack of belief in a God. Lack of evidence for the supernatural and the ever-closing gap of our knowledge in the natural world. Is there still room for a God? Some would say yes. But if the supernatural can be demonstrated or shown to have any impact in our reality, it would then become part of the natural world. Now for what I do believe. Humanism. It's a philosophical worldview that promotes kindness, well-being, curiosity, compassion, empathy, and scientific investigation. You can be secular or religious. Your beliefs don't matter. The only thing that matters is that you place your highest personal value on the well-being, rights, and dignity of your fellow humans. All fellow humans, without undue judgment. Now here's the kicker. Whether there's a God or not. Our goal as humanists is not to convert anyone to atheism. I had to explain the atheist outlook on the topic at hand for today, but I don't personally care if you're Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Baha'i, or any other religion. The important thing is how we can work together to build the world that we want to see. A lot of you here today are probably humanists and didn't know it until just now. I'm going to quote the great Dr. J. Exodus Hooper. When we take a stab at trying to make change, I don't know that I'm always necessarily interested in like-minded folk as much as I'm interested in like-hearted folk. Isn't that an incredible quote? That to me sums up the heart of humanism. That's why I call myself a humanist. It's not a faith position. It's an outlook on the human condition, an understanding that to the best of our knowledge, all we have is each other. Secular humanists lead ethical and meaningful lives guided by reason, fairness, and inspiration. Religious organizations have held the monopoly on charity due to their historic head start. But organizations like Go Humanity, Humanists at Work, Atheists Helping the Homeless, and Humanist Canada, including our local Windsor chapter, like and subscribe, we're doing big things for the area. We just recently donated a large number of warm clothing and helped feed the homeless at Street Help down the road. The chief administrator there, Christine, is a lifelong Humanist Canada member, and she's a Christian. Our local chapter also adopted a street for monthly cleanups here in the West End, and it encompasses places of worship and reverence from multiple faith groups. Events like this symposium show that we can work together. We can love one another whether we believe in one God, three gods in one, a multitude of gods, or no gods at all. So getting back to the topic of the conversation today, God, fact, or fiction. This is going to shock a lot of you here today. It really doesn't matter to me. It seems to only be us, and it might only be up to us alone. Let's do our best to make this world a paradise for everyone. Start with your circle and expand out to reach the stars. We can do it. I know we can. Let's make commitments to each other and not commandments that separate each other. Let's really put our best foot forward and lean towards our future together. Thank you all. I appreciate each and every one of you here. Thank you to the University of Windsor and to the Ahmadiyya Muslim Students Association for organizing this event. You see the potential like I do, and I'm beyond grateful that you brought us all here together today. Thank you.